Assalamualaikum guys, this is Hassan with Muslim Success Hub episode number 3. Today we got a solid, action-packed episode ahead of us. We talk a lot about challenging yourself, getting out of your comfort zone, going out, experiencing new things in life, new adventures. And today we have Brother Jahanzeb with Epic Adventures, and we're all going to talk about adventures and going out of your comfort zone and challenging yourself. And he even got me a matching tee, so jazakallah for that.
Looks good on you, bro. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for coming out. It's a huge blessing. What you guys see in the background, you want to tell us a bit about your trip? And before we actually even do that, how about you tell us about what Epic is about? What do you guys do?
Well, Epic is about really, to sum it up in a phrase, I tell people, add some epic chapters to your life story.
Yeah.
When you look back, when you're sitting with your grandkids, what stories do you want to tell them? Do you want to tell them stories about how you worked your whole life and how you built up your career and climbed the corporate ladder and reached some lofty position, and then you retired and that's it? Which are good goals, of course. We need to work towards our career and establish ourselves. But wouldn't you rather have that whole story peppered with other exciting adventures 100%. As well?
100%.
I got a message when I put out a post about one of our trips. The person messaged me, said, "I'd love to go, but I'm too old." And it was almost heartbreaking to read that.
Yeah.
And the whole philosophy of Epic is to do the things you've always wanted. Because one day you'll wake up and there won't be any more time.
That's true. Take that note, guys. Do the things you always wanted, because one day you're gonna wake up and you realize that there won't be enough time. That's the beauty. It's true, because we live life as if, I'm not gonna say we, but a lot of times people live lives that it's you want to do things, and one day I'll do this, and one day I'll do that, and someday I'll do that.
We always want to do things. A lot of us have a to-do list, dreams, places we want to go, people we want to meet, things we want to experience. But we're so caught up in the day-to-day, all of us, and it's not easy. It's a challenge. Getting through the day, putting food on the table, taking care of your family, your friends, your religion, your deen. It's a huge balancing act. And so we tend to put off what's least important or least urgent. And so we put off these experiences that actually make us a better person and put us out there. And we experience things, and we can share our values and our culture with people around the world.
That's true.
Without even trying very hard.
That's true.
So I think we need to make a conscious effort to take time out. It's really for your own self and your personal well-being is really what it boils down to. Instead of just getting so lost in the race and getting caught up, not having that time, and then just burning out and not being able to do those things.
That's true. And that's big, man. And sometimes when you're just caught up in that race, caught up in the day-to-day, you look back and you realize, what happened, man? That was 4 years ago, that was 5 years ago, or you think something that happened 10 years ago, you think that was just like yesterday.
Yes.
And then you realize you haven't really truly even lived.
Yeah. People have those regrets, and we tell people, don't live a life of regrets. There's a window of opportunity to take it. Don't worry about too much about the what ifs. If you can do it, just do it.
100%. That's solid, man. Tell us about your trip.
The background, as most of your viewers would have already recognized, it's Machu Picchu.
That's a picture he took, by the way, right?
Yes, I took that picture in May of this year. It was after a one-day hike up to Machu Picchu, which is it's one of the wonders of the world. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's Peru's most popular attraction. And it's a site of an Inca civilization that used to live there and farm there and worship there. And it's up in the mountains, and it's a really unique place. I'm sure many of us have traveled to mountains and so on. But I have another video of that place I took. And they're conical mountains, almost as if they're jutting right out of the ground. And you're surrounded by these conical peaks. And you're so high that the clouds are actually rising from beneath you and going above you.
Really?
Yes.
So that is beautiful.
So just to take all of that in is breathtaking. I mean, we're more about doing and less about seeing.
Yeah.
But that's one of the places we combine the doing and the seeing of that. So
Yeah.
the touristy way is to go to the town of Aguas Calientes,
Yeah.
which is just a half an hour drive from Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
So that's where all the tourists come in, they get on the bus, and they take the bus up to Machu Picchu,
Yeah.
and they explore the area, and they go back. That's the touristy way.
Yeah.
The classic way is the 4-day hike through the wilderness of Peru and the Andes Mountains to get there.
Yeah.
And for people on shorter itineraries, it's the 2-day, 1-night Inca Machu Picchu trip, which is what we like to do.
Yeah.
So it gives us time to enjoy the rest of Peru as well. We don't like to focus our trips on just any one activity.
Yeah.
Most people have maybe a week or 10 days or 2 weeks tops for
Yeah.
a holiday.
100%.
And if you're spending 5 or 6 or 7 days
One
just
thing.
doing this,
Yeah.
you're really missing out on all the other great things that Peru has to offer, or any other destination for that matter.
That's amazing. So what else does Peru have to offer? Because most of the people, they just see that and they say, hey, yeah, that's it. Peru, Machu Picchu, that's it.
Right. So Peru actually has so much to offer. We don't have just one Peru itinerary.
Oh, yeah.
We actually have 2, and we're working on a 3rd.
Wow.
So the classic Peru itinerary is we fly into Lima.
Yeah.
It's 8 hours from Toronto.
Yeah.
And we go to Cusco the next day, which is the landing point for everyone who wants to go to Machu Picchu. But we don't stay in Cusco. We go right into the Sacred Valley to adjust to the elevation. Cusco is about roughly 10,000 feet. So our bodies aren't used to that. Most people, they can succumb to a bit of altitude sickness or just being out of breath. So we take them to the Sacred Valley, which is about 2,000 feet lower, spend the night there.
Nice.
And we spend the day there discovering an organic farm there and the different crops of Peru. Then the following day, we tour the Maras agricultural mines of the Incas.
Wow.
So it's, if you look at it from the distance, it's perfect spheres, perfect circles at different elevations in the ground. So it's kind of like going in like a tree stump almost. And the Incas used to lab different crops at each different elevation because every elevation has different microclimates.
That is beautiful because like when you showed me the picture, it literally looked like a what do you call it, the oil mine.
Yes.
Or a mine,
Yes.
not an oil, but what do you call it, the mine for minerals. Like when you're digging deep, it's like perfect rings, perfect circle. And it changes at every level, even subclimate?
It changes at every level.
Wow.
So different humidity, different temperatures, different wind conditions. And the Incas built that hundreds of years ago without any modern equipment, which is the amazing part. Peru has more than 3,000 varieties of potatoes.
3,000 potatoes.
3,000 varieties of potatoes. They have potatoes which you cut open, they're bright pink inside. They're blue inside. It's just never seen anything
How's it
like
taste
it.
like? When you
I didn't taste those particular ones. I didn't get to that part. But in general, their food tastes very good. It's very natural. It's very fresh. It just tastes next level.
That is beautiful.
So to answer your question about our Peru trip, that's called Maras, the Maras. And then that's called Morai. And then there's the Maras salt mines. So I only found this out 2 months ago when I was there, last month, that they have a mountain there that water comes out of, which we think is spring water, but it's actually salt water that's coming out of this mountain. And once they discovered this, they built salt mines there. So they have a cascade of mines along the mountain, and they're mining salt in those different pools. And then you can actually buy that salt and take home mountain salt from there. So the second day in Peru, the third day is where we take you to Maras and Morai. But for the adventurous types, we take you to the same places, but on a slightly different route.
What's that?
So we leave the families who don't want to be too adventurous. We'll leave them on the bus, and they go on the bus and they check it out, come back to the hotel in the evening. But for you and for the other adventurous types, we'll take you in a van with mountain bikes on top of the van to the top of the Sacred Valley. And we'll be at about 12,000 feet.
12,000.
Yes, and then we'll bike down from there.
Bike down?
We'll bike down from there. So we're not going vertically down like Everest. It's very nice paths. We're going through farms. We're encountering wildlife, running into local people, horses, cattle, sheep, llamas, alpacas, everything.
Like that.
And you can stop wherever you feel like. So if you check out our Instagram, there's a video I took during this tour where we were biking along, and all of a sudden I saw a farm on the left with goats and a sheepdog, and so I just dropped the bike and went over and chatted with the farmer, interacted with the lambs, took a couple of nice photos, and move on.
That's all. That's awesome.
They're very easygoing in the rest of Peru.
Yeah.
My good friend Jose Luis Peroni is the commissioner here from Peru, and he said there's two countries in Peru. One is Lima, and one is the rest of Peru.
So Lima's like the central.
Lima's the capital. It's a typical busy metropolis, crowded and so on. Everyone's running around, and it's got its nice parts as well. But then there's the rest of Peru, which is amazing. Peru has, I think, 87 different microclimates within Peru. It's almost the most of any country. They have high mountains, they have jungles, they have the Amazon, and they also have the desert. They also have the coast.
Desert.
All of this in one country. It's almost as beautiful as Pakistan. Pakistan has that too. Mountains, jungles, desert. Pakistan's underrated, and we're working on a tour to Pakistan for next year as well.
That would be epic.
Yes.
Like imagine, I saw a couple of pictures for guys going up north, and then in the mountains, it's literally just Switzerland all around.
Oh, it's crazy.
Maybe even better. It's just beautiful, actually.
Yes.
So how do you do your tours? Like, how do you decide which place you want to go to? Like, how does that occur?
There's no science to it. We're always looking out for destinations and researching what are some of the cool places to go and the neat things to experience. And then we don't really promote the mainstream. So a person asked me last week, so are you going to take a trip to Turkey? And I said, bro, you don't need me for that. Everyone's going. Or you don't need me to take you to Dubai. Just get on a plane and go. And if you want to go to Cuba or sit on the beach, just go to Sunwing and book it and see you later. I'm not going to sell you something just to make money. We're only going to give you something if we can add value.
Makes sense.
So our value in Peru is we check it out, we vet it out. You could go to Peru on your own, but now you don't know which hotels you're staying at. You don't know which operators are the best. You won't necessarily get the best bang for your buck or the best use of your time. So we take all of that risk out for you. We vet it. We stay at the hotel. We check out the tour operators. We try out the different activities. We modify those activities. So this Maras More bike tour that I mentioned to you, this is a custom epic trip.
Solid.
It's not something you can Google and buy off the internet and go with any company. No, we said we want to start here. We want to stop at this village called Chinchero and see the local weaving and the local how they extract colors from natural ingredients. And we want to bike down to Maras and Morai and then back all the way down to the bottom of the Sacred Valley. Then the next day we do the one-day hike up to Machu Picchu. By the time you reach Machu Picchu where you can take that picture, you're too wiped. It's about 3-4 in the afternoon. You're too wiped to go anywhere else or even explore the ruins. So you take it all in, but you go down to Aguas Calientes and spend the night. And then the following morning you come back by bus with the tourists to Machu Picchu. Then you can actually take the whole day to explore it. We have a guide who educates us on the various aspects of this Inca ruin.
Oh, you have a guide as well?
Yeah, so we have a guide, and so they'll educate you on the different components of this mini village of the city. And then there's the optional hike to an abandoned Inca bridge, which is about an hour return trip. So then we have enough energy to do that on the second day in Machu Picchu. We'll go back in. Then we fly out to the Amazon, which is close to Brazil. So the Amazon is shared between Peru and Brazil as well.
Part of the same trip?
Part of the same trip. So now you're like day 5. We take you into the Amazon. We fly out from Cusco to Puerto Maldonas. And we take a 5-hour boat ride deep into the Amazon jungle. We stay overnight there. The second day we explore the Amazon while we're in there. Again, stay overnight. And then the third day we fly back out. And then we make our way back to Cusco and then to Lima. And then in Lima, the final day, we have 2 adventure activities packed into one day. Most flights from Lima depart back to North America around midnight. So if you get into Lima the night before or early that day, you have the whole day in Lima.
Solid.
So we'll take you swimming with the seals in the Pacific Ocean.
Swimming with the seals?
With the seals. There's a place that
sounds epic.
Callao, that's what it's called. And put on a wetsuit. And life jacket if you want, but the wetsuit is buoyant enough. And just jump in the water, and it's an island there. It's called Palomino Island. And it's just a natural habitat for seals and wildlife. So you have the opportunity, if you're brave enough, to jump in the water. They'll be swimming around you. You can take some seal selfies.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You can do that?
You can do that.
So, right? And they don't bite or anything? Or friendly creatures?
Most wildlife doesn't bite you. we're afraid of wildlife because we're uneducated about them. Yeah. But most wildlife wants to stay out of your way. They don't want anything to do with humans. We're smelly, we're noisy, we're dangerous to them. Right. They don't like us. Right. But there are places like that where you can actually interact with them very close. And it's not a zoo or a reserve, it's in the wild. These aren't anyone's pets or kept or maintained by anyone. This is Allah's creation enjoying its place in the world. And you get to share it with them for that brief hour.
That's beautiful.
And you keep that memory forever.
You would.
This is not no marine land. This is, you're in their house. This is real life.
Wow. Yeah. And then so that happens that day?
That happens the last day in Lima. Yeah. So this is not the end of the trip where you've done the Cusco, you've done the Sacred Valley, the Maras Morai, you've done Machu Picchu, you've done the Amazon. Now on the way back, Lima, now we show you the city. And so we do that, and then second half of the day, we do a bike tour through Lima. It's just our one Peru trip, and we've only touched 20-30% of what Peru has to offer.
I just felt like I went through that trip right now, and I can just imagine how it feels like.
So we like to give those experiences to people, and I mean, there's a ton of Peru trips out there, there's a ton of companies out there that will take you to Peru, but I feel none of them are as unique as our trips, and to pack so much into one trip, where I tell people, if you are tired from work, and you're exhausted and you need a break and you just need to relax for a week or 2 weeks, this is the wrong trip for you. We're going to be up early most days. We're going to be on our feet. We're going to be working hard. We're going to be sweating. But it's going to be a trip of a lifetime.
That makes sense.
And the people are great as well. And so that's just one trip. In the Cayman Islands, there's an activity we do, and that's actually very popular even with all the cruise ships. But we love it so much we want to take people there to experience it. So most people, when they think of stingrays, they think fear, death, stings, killed Steve Irwin, right? And that's the first question I get asked every time I talk about stingrays. Oh, but didn't they kill that guy? And I ask them, well, do you know the story? Do you know what happened? And then I show them my stingray video, where I have 150-pound stingrays literally swimming and swirling around me, and I hand-fed them at the site called Stingray City, about 30 feet underwater at the seabed, and you get to, if you want, you can feed them squid. Oh, yeah. Just hold it in your hand. They say keep your thumb inside because their mouths are like vacuums, and so they could bite your thumb or suck it. So just hold it with the squid sticking out like this, and they'll just suck it up, and those.
So how did that feel? How's that experience?
It's amazing.
Yeah?
It's amazing. To see these huge, powerful, graceful animals, and all they want from you is that piece of squid.
150 pounds, these are big, man.
These are big. When you go to Stingray City, where the cruise ships bring all the tourists, so that's where everyone can go, nothing to be afraid of. And they are wild stingrays. These aren't tame. They're not like the Ripley's downtown, where they've actually removed their stings. So you can pet them downtown at the Ripley's Aquarium, but they've removed the stings. Now these are actual living, breathing stingrays, but they're so used to the people there, they're almost tame, and they'll swim around you, they'll come right up to you. The guides even bring them right up to you. You can hold them, they'll put them on your back. You can take a selfie with a stingray behind you.
Really?
So it's a great experience, and we want to take our people out there. And so we're putting together the Cayman trip as well. We've done that, and now we're going to do it again this year. So we'll take care of that. We provide, Epic is the only company that will provide you halal food.
Halal food?
Halal food in the Cayman Islands.
Halal food in the Cayman Islands. I never thought that was possible until I met you.
It's possible. That's good. And we'll interact with the blue iguanas. We go up to I think the world's second largest freshwater pool, and it's in a turtle farm. Turtle farm. So you can put on a wetsuit and a life vest if you need, and jump in the water and swim around, and right there swimming along with you.
There's turtles?
Huge turtles.
How big?
I don't know, 3 feet.
That big?
That big, yeah.
And they're swimming around?
Yeah, swimming around, right? A foot below you.
Wow.
A foot below you. Yeah. And then they have a place where they're raising them, so you can actually pick up the baby ones, which are about, yay big. And they try to get out of your hands, you just pick them up and play with them, see how they're growing, different stages. So we put together a unique itinerary for the Caymans as well. One of the most beautiful things there, and this exists in only maybe 3 or 4 countries in the world. It's called the bioluminescence bay. So they have, the best way to describe it maybe would be it's glow in the dark plankton.
Wow.
So you go at nighttime and the water is dark, and you run your hand through the water and it's like the fairy tale, sprinkles and stars in the water. So it's actually plankton and it's motion activated.
It is.
And so when you run your hand through it, it all lights up. And then you can see a fish swimming across 50 feet away because as it moves, it's streaking a light strip through the water.
How must that be like to witness that?
This is phenomenal. Never seen anything like it because it's completely dark, but you can, with your movements, you're seeing like the motion activated light movement, and it's almost like you're floating in space because you're pretty weightless in water. And it's just something I never experienced until I went there.
That is beautiful.
It was one of the few spots. So we like to pick these kind of destinations that, sure, go to Dubai and enjoy your shopping and go to Turkey and see the Blue Mosque. This is great, but like I said, we're more about doing and less about the seeing. When you sit on a bus and go from one place to another, we'll see most of the stuff anyways. Absolutely. The stuff that is unmissable, sure, let's go and see it.
100%.
But it's more about doing, experiencing, feeling it, being in that moment, and then taking those stories back.
Totally feel you, man. That was beautiful. I truly felt like I was there the way you're experiencing it. And so I can only imagine how it was like to experience if your memories are so vivid, how you remember it. So I think, a couple of things you touched up on when you were saying challenging yourself, experiencing new things, getting out of your comfort zones. So how'd you notice that people that go on the trip with you, when they went, what they were like, and as a result after the trip, how were they like? How did that change? How do you notice the difference that travel and more specifically adventure travel provides to people, and how can that affect their life mostly?
Excellent question, and a great example comes to mind. One of the trips we run every year. Are you ready for this? It's whitewater rafting. Whitewater rafting. Close to home on the Ottawa River. 5 hours from here. And we run it every summer. Usually, and you'll be surprised to hear this, half of the people on our trip are non-swimmers. Non-swimmers going whitewater rafting in class 3, 4, and 5 level rapids.
I'll be one of those guys, I guess this summer too.
So it takes a bit of convincing to get them on the bus in the first place because I don't know how to swim. And we told them, you don't need to know how to swim. Do you know how to put on a life jacket? Yes. Okay, you're good. We have that, and we have safety measures in place. You don't need to know how to swim. You just need to know how to keep your mouth closed when you're in the water. Right? And so we educate people that, look, yes, there is an element of risk, and I understand that because you're a non-swimmer, you have this fear of the water. It was common amongst our Desis or South Asians. Very common. A lot of people don't know how to swim. But we tell them, look, as long as you don't panic, and you come, here's how it works. And we break it down for them in small pieces. And we help them, ease them into it. So when we get there, the first day at our campsite, we have canoes, kayaks, swimming on the little beach there. And we tell people, look, please, safety first, put your life jacket on if you're going to go in the water. And then we'll take them on the canoe or the kayak, and they're a little bit scared, wobbly, afraid of the water a little bit. But then they realize, okay, hey, you know what? Now I'm on the canoe. Now I'm in the middle of the lake, and I haven't drowned yet. You know what? Hey, this isn't that bad. Right? And then one of my friends, a good friend of mine, his name is Yasir, and he came with us on one of these trips. And he was terrified. He had never been in the water. He had never been in open water. Doesn't know how to swim. So he got on the canoe, but he was terrified of actually falling in. He fell in.
He did?
He fell in. It was very funny. I don't want to embarrass him on TV. It's a story maybe I'll share around the campfire. But we grabbed him from behind immediately. And we told him, calm down, breathe is good. We got him to the shore. And he was fine.
He had his life vest on.
He had his life vest on. So he was just scared more than anything else. And the next day he still came whitewater rafting with us. But at the end of that trip, he goes, Jahanzeb, thank you so much for taking me on this trip. Because after going on this trip, I learned to conquer my challenges. And I apply this to my life every day now. And to me, that was invaluable. Those are the things that inspire me and us to do what we do and say, you know what, you got to keep doing this. You have to keep taking people out to experience things that they, for whatever reason, whatever mental barrier they think, I can't do this. You just have to educate them and hold their hand initially to show them that, guess what, bro, you can. We all can.
That's true.
And that's really rewarding, and that's just one story of people experiencing something that they thought they can never do. It's not possible. It's not for me.
Yeah.
This is a typical mindset. Oh, it's not for me. Yeah, you're adventurous, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
No, bro, it is for you.
And you just haven't gone. You
just
haven't
haven't
experienced it.
gone.
How are you going to know if it's for you or not?
Yes.
Like when you haven't done it.
Exactly. So we tell people, look, you owe it to yourself to try something once.
100%.
And then if you don't like it, we're not going to force you. You know, I love to ski.
Yeah.
I stumbled down the hill several times when I was learning.
Yeah.
And I was okay with that. And I just got up and continued.
Yeah.
But some people are like, oh, I got hurt, I got bruised, I twisted my ankle, I'm not going to go anymore. Hey, man, you tried it, good enough. If it's not for you, that's fine.
100%.
But try it that one time.
100%.
And you'll find things that you fall in love with.
Yes, and I think that's one of the epidemic of the society as well. So people try one thing once, and then they maybe experience a setback, and they say, "This is not for me," or "I can't do this," or "I can't do this." You know, just in life in general, people sometimes they would try working out, or they try with new diets, or try their ibadah a different way, or try going on a different trip, and they limit themselves without knowing that there's bumps that you got to take before you actually learn something, before you actually enjoy it. Like you falling on your behind skiing a couple of times, and
Behind, on my front, all over.
so that's how you're gonna find out, right?
That's how exactly. And this is the thing, we limit ourselves.
Yeah.
There's so much we as humans, as a society, as a community, as a human race, there's so much that we can achieve.
Yeah.
And we read about those people.
Yeah.
So we're vicariously living the lives of others that we wish we had.
Yeah, it's true.
We're spending our time on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on the web, just being fascinated at what other people are doing. I was shocked actually. I went with a youth group a few months ago just to spend some time with them in a religious environment. And I tried to talk to them and get them to open up, just to see what they're thinking, what their issues are. And so I asked one of them, say, what do you like to do in your free time? What are some of your hobbies? And he says, Facebooking. Dude, we need to get you out there, man.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what our motto was born out of.
Yeah.
Epic Adventures motto is nothing virtual, all reality.
That's all.
I had a friend way back, and I met him after a number of years, and he'd moved to the U.S. I was in Saudi, and then he'd moved to the U.S. So I said, hey, so what are you up to nowadays, and what do you like to do? He said, oh, I love hockey. I'm like, oh, what position do you play? Oh, I don't play, I watch. Okay, good. Glad you enjoy it.
Yeah.
But we have to get out and do things. Don't just spend your life watching the lives of others.
100%.
Find something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Try it, and you'll be surprised at how much you enjoy it. You'll be surprised at how good you can get at it.
Yeah.
And just go and live those experiences.
That's a big lesson, because most of the time people are just talking about who's playing basketball, Raptors this, Argos this, right? Yankees this, Blue Jays this, and Maple Leafs this. And then life is just revolves around that, and you realize that you're now 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, you're not able to do the things that you should have been able to do.
Yeah.
So I think one of the big things is, I love your story, man, like how you started. Why don't you share how your story was like? How did you get into, how was Epic founded, and what was your journey like to get here? I mean, because most of the time, a lot of times we're pitched this, go to school, get an education, go become a doctor, engineer, and do that for the rest of your life, right? So how'd you break through that, and what was your journey like?
Well, first of all, please continue becoming doctors, lawyers, engineers, because we need you guys. So don't listen to everything he says. But for me, I tell people, I'm living proof that you can't die of boredom. I was in the corporate life, and I was literally dying inside. Every day was a drag. Yes, I mean, there's work. I was qualified to do it. I was skilled to do it, but it just wasn't doing it for me. I wasn't passionate about it. I wasn't living life. And I said, I need to break out of this shell. So Epic was born in phases. I guess the humans are born in phases, so Epic was born in phases as well. And one of the first seeds of Epic was sown in South Africa, where I had tickets to the World Cup. And I was planning on going. But in the end, even when I offered my friends free tickets, I'm like, look, I'll give you the World Cup game tickets for free. Let's go, let's go, we're gonna have a great time. But for whatever reason, family, money, busyness, whatever the case may be. So I said, you know what? I'm still going. I'm still going. And a few years before that, when my friend and I, we decided to put together a camping trip to Algonquin, my friend Khalid Yusuf, I had 3 people and he had 3, including each of us. So we had a group of 6 ready to go. The night before we got on the phone and he goes, hey, what's up? And he goes, so, are you guys ready? I said, yeah, no, my guys dropped out, man. He goes, yeah, same here. So it's just me. So what do you want to do? I said, well, we're still going, man. So see you at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we went and, Hassan, we had the best time of our lives.
Yeah.
We had the best time of our lives. We put up a tent in the dark, barbecuing by the campfire, bonding, talking, amazing drive, back roads. It was a great trip.
Yeah.
So I learned, you know what? I have this philosophy that once I make a plan, then whether people drop in or drop out, I'm still doing it. And then people realize, hey, this guy's serious. He actually, when he says something, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
And they do come along the next time then. So South Africa, I went on my own. There's a mountain in Cape Town called Table Mountain.
Yes, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. You may have seen it.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. I've been there, seen it in pictures.
Right.
Inshallah, we'll go.
So people, again, the tourists, they get on the cable car, they go to the top of the mountain, and they come back down on the cable car. I hiked up. A lot of people do that, so it was a nice hike. At the top, I met, it was close to Asr time, and I was concerned about offering my salah. And I met a couple of North African Muslims there, and they said, yeah, brother, I could show you how, let's do the salah. So I stood on the top of Table Mountain, and I gave the azan, and alhamdulillah, we did Jamaat there. And then I also downhill mountain biked down the side of Table Mountain.
Nice.
And I love that so much. I said, when I go back home, I need to start mountain biking. And there was nothing going on here. So eventually, with trial and error, by running those mountain bike trails the wrong way around for a number of years, I came up with our own mountain bike rides around the GTNO. So that's
nice.
One aspect of how Epic was born.
Nice.
We went to Costa Rica, and again, I put together an intensive itinerary, 7 days non-stop adventure in Costa Rica, and the feedback I got at the end of it was that, bro, these were the 7 most adventurous days of my life.
Solid.
And I've never had a trip like this. So that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? If people enjoy it so much, and there's no one really doing it and catering to our community especially, so I can do this.
Right.
And so it's just about educating the people, and then putting together a hell of a trip,
100%.
and then just going. And then people love it and they just want more. So I was born in various stages, to the point where I just want to take people to more and more destinations. I want to introduce the world to our community, and then I want to take them around the world.
That's a beautiful mission. But a lot of people don't even know we're there because people don't even go out. People they're just used to staying at their one place, being comfortable, living life just like that, and finding out that it's too late. So one thing that really stands out, which I'm going to shed some more light on, is you were hating your 9 to 5, and you were going through that process. You're finding it dreadful. Then you actually chose to do something and take a trip out, and then in that trip, the idea was born. And here we are, fast forward a few years later, where you're actually offering this as a full-out business and changing lives as a result. So that's a lesson that's big. So when people are watching, when you're watching this, when you realize that you might be in a tough position where you think you're stuck in a routine, you're stuck in a rut, where you're going on a day-to-day and finding out that it's hard at your job, you hate Mondays, you hate maybe the work that you're doing, whatever that may be, or you're not doing any work, or you're just tired of the routine, or just bored overall. It's that one trip led for the inspiration of where Jahanzeb and Epic is today. That's big. So that one trip can change it. And how it changed for you, maybe it could change that for somebody else.
And it will.
And it has.
It will change your life. Any single trip activity will change your life.
Yeah.
It will open a door for you, mentally and physically.
100%.
And you realize, I can do this. And then you will challenge yourself. And it doesn't have to be adventure.
Yeah.
It could be some innovation you're working on, or some idea that you have.
Yeah.
Just have to get out and do it, and put your energy and passion behind it, and things will happen.
100%.
We rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so you just put your faith in Him, do the right thing, keep a clean heart. He is the Razik, He will help you.
Yeah, that's true. When you just go full out in the direction of what it is you want, then that comes.
Yes.
That is beautiful. So tell us about some of the trips that we got coming up this year. What else is left for you?
So what we're introducing this year is a trip to Belize.
Belize. You were just there, no?
Belize, I was just there last month, and we will be putting together a Belize jungle adventure.
Jungle, that sounds cool.
And of course, we're Muslims, we're foodies, we love to eat.
Yeah.
I'm proud to say that Epic Adventures is the only company in the world that will provide you halal food in Belize.
Halal food.
Halal food in Belize.
That is great, Marshall. I went to Costa Rica and there was only that one little shop I found in the middle of San Jose that was offering halal food.
Right.
This is big.
Yeah. So we don't want to just eat veggies when we go on vacation, right? We can still give you some veggies. Eat your greens. But no, we've got the halal food there. Belize has a lot of great places to go.
Yeah.
They have a lot of wildlife, a lot of undeveloped areas. Yeah. They have the Mayan ruins. They have a thing called cave tubing, which I had never heard of.
That?
So you actually go into underground caves on an inflatable tube, which on a river that runs
underneath
the cave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So in Jannah we'll have gardens beneath which rivers flow. Here we have caves beneath which rivers flow. So there's that, and they have the famous Blue Hole, which is a site just off the coast of Belize, where the water is in a perfect circle. The depth changes over there, and from the sky it appears as a dark blue hole amongst beautiful turquoise blue waters. People love to go there. We'll take you to San Pedro Island, where you can zip around the whole island on golf carts. That's what most people drive over there. So it's looking to be a great trip, and that's coming up in October, inshallah. Yes, and that'll be right after we come back from Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
Yeah, so we're taking a trip. Again, I gave the design at Table Mountain. In Cape Town, and then I had to do it when I was at Machu Picchu. So I did that. And so the next one is at the top of the view of the famous view of Newfoundland is a place called Western Brook Pond.
Western Brook Pond.
Yes. So if people have seen pictures of Newfoundland, the most famous pictures of this beautiful valley with fjords on both sides and the water. Yeah. So we'll be taking a group there in September, and it's the only way to get there is by foot. And it's a full day hike through the wilderness. So we're putting together that trip, and we have that trip going the first week of September. Yes, and then Belize coming up. And our goal is to add at least 2 new exciting destinations to the portfolio every year.
Every year?
Yes.
How many do you have right now?
We have about 6.
6?
Yes.
Wow, that's big, man.
Yes.
So that's one thing. That's a great thing you mentioned about Newfoundland, because normally that picture of fjords you only see in Norway and things like that, and then you have it right in our backyard here in Canada. So it's right here. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. Well, what advice would you give people for people who feel stuck? We put a lot of emphasis here on Muslim Success Hub on people who may feel stuck, who want to grow immensely, who want to change their life, turn their lives upside around, serve the deen, serve the people, serve the ummah, grow exponentially, and benefit the entire ummah. What one advice would you give to the people?
The key is to get out of the mindset that I can't. That, it's not possible. Yeah, you're right, but it's not possible. So that, I don't believe that, because you can do anything. It's just about what are you willing to sacrifice for that. So there's never a situation where I have no choice. There's always a choice. It's just a question of what are you willing to sacrifice. So unless you give that a deep look and really sit down and look inside yourself, you need to do that to come up with that answer. Because we spend about 35% of our life working. Think about it. We're working 8 hours a day. That's 1/3 of the day right there. Yes. We're spending about 30% of our lives just working. Yeah. And if you're not happy doing what you're doing, if you're not making progress, if you, like you said, are not benefiting yourself, your family, your neighborhood, your village, your country, your deen, if you're not benefiting those and you're just living your life and not adding that value, this is the only chance you have to do it. We only have the one life, and we don't even know how long that is. Right. So we only have that one chance. There's no reincarnation. There's no coming back. This is it. Yeah. So whatever you want your legacy to be, you have to start working on it now. Whatever goals you want to achieve, you have to do it today, not tomorrow. Because today you have it in your hands, right? And tomorrow we don't know. So we have to make that conscious effort and get out. And there will be a trade-off. So maybe you might have to give up your financial security temporarily, or you might have to give up some of your luxuries. Right now you're used to living this lifestyle and this standard of living. Hey, maybe you need to drop it a notch. Yeah. Come down to an older car for a little while. Come down to a smaller house for a little while. It's okay. Yeah. But in the long run, you'll achieve the things you want to achieve, and check those boxes off your list. instead of having a clean, unchecked list and then your life is over. So the advice is to think about the opportunity cost and make the trade-offs that you need to make and trust in Allah and then make your move.
Make your move, guys. Make your move. Check out goepic.ca. That's the website for Epic Adventures. www.goepic.ca. Check out the programs. Check out what they're doing. And make a move, guys. Get out of your comfort zone. Do something different. You can change it. You have the power to. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us with so much energy, so much ability that we can achieve any goals we want to set out to. And like our brother Jahanzeb said, you got to get moving. Make some sacrifices if you need to, but truly live the life that you want to live. Live the life of purpose. Live the life of adventure. Make it the best life ever because, hey, this is the only life you got. This is the only chance we got. So thanks for tuning in. Jazakallah khair, Jahanzeb, for being here with us. And inshallah, looking forward to him and me coming out on tours and see you again, and hopefully with everybody else as well. So Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much.
Right. Well, on that word, looking forward to coming with us on tours. I'm going to make it easy for you. This is a little.
Yes.
If you want to see what's inside there. So now you're going to have to be a man of your word. Can you tell all these people to go on tours? So we're going to take you on a free mountain biking trip.
Oh yeah. MashaAllah, I am there, bro.
So thank you for having us.
Yes, absolutely. Free mountain biking trip, guys, right here. Yeah. I'm going to shoot a video and then share it with you guys here.
Yeah, so we provide everything. All you got to do is show up. And that's the same thing with all our adventures.
Perfect.
All you got to do is show up and just all you got to bring is a positive attitude.
Perfect.
And inshallah, so looking forward to seeing you on the trip. 100%. And many of you, I hope to see you. Yeah. If you have any questions, please contact us. And again, once again, thank you very much. Absolutely. It's been a real pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for coming out.
Assalamu alaikum.
All right. Perfect. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This was our episode number 4, guys. We'll be with you here next week with episode number 5. Keep watching, stay tuned, keep grinding, keep growing, keep challenging yourself, keep being epic. Take care.
سيدنا